This video will show you how to make the line graphs for your experiment. First, you need to type control and experimental, and then have all the control plant's average heights and experimental plant's average heights. You won't have the day numbers. This is just the heights of the plants and the heights of the plants. Once you've done that, you will click and drag to select the entire thing that you have typed. You don't want any other spaces in there, just exactly as it is with the control, experimental, and their heights. Then you'll come up here to charts, and you want to do a line graph because this is going to make a line graph. In general, I think this is probably the best option. When you do stacked, it doesn't come out right. Don't do those. But this one or this one is fine. The 3D I think looks kind of goofy. So these are really your only two reasonable options. Once you do that, it plops your graph right in. There's still a lot of things that need to be done to it though. You take a look, it's missing the title and all sorts of other things. If you click on it, when it's selected, you have an option to go up here to say chart layout. And then you can click over here and put in a title. I'll put a title above, and we'll call this plant heights. And then we can put in labels for the axes. And this would be observation number. It is, I admit it's a little bit off because it's not going by day number but by observation number, which were not consistent. You know, these are supposed to go by exactly the same intervals each time, but we haven't found a good way to make that happen, to go by day number, because then it just puts the day numbers and still doesn't have the intervals spaced out correctly. So observation number works for us there. And then we're going to do the other axis. This would be the, I didn't need to do that. This would be the plant height in centimeters. Okay, and then that's basically our graph. Now I don't like the size of the fonts here, so I'm going to select that. If you go to home, you can change the font just so it's readable when you actually make your presentation and people can actually read your labels and so forth. Because right now I think if you put this into your presentation, people wouldn't be able to read the words or the numbers. I was going to change all these real quick. You just tap on them to click them and then change the font size. Alright, that's your basic graph. I'm going to change these too. I can't read the control and experimental words. Alright, so that's the basic graph, but we can make it look nicer. If you click on one part of it and go up here to format, you can change the fill. And I like to go down here to fill effects, and I have already saved a picture onto my desktop that I pulled off the internet. I know you guys know how to do that. And I'm going to insert the picture. And I like to change the transparency so you can still read the information on the graph relatively well. So I'm going to make it a little bit transparent so we can read it and say OK. For this one in here, I like to click on that and just make it completely no fill so you can see all the way through it. And then you have your graph. And that's basically it. Once you're finished your graph, you want to hold down control and you click on this little bar here and say save as picture. And you'll select JPEG. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. And I will call it plant height. And hit save. And then on your desktop, we now have our plant height graph that you'll be able to drag and drop this into your presentation without any problem.